Hey everybody, it's Pete. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Wednesday morning, February 17th, 2021, and today we're going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about probably the most talked about stock on Wall Street. Electric vehicle stocks have been hot since the beginning of 2020 and right into January of this year, but they're cooling off quite a bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Nio, XPeng, and how all of that electric vehicle sauce is playing into whether or not Tesla is about to pull into really big support right now. And if the stock cracks, what does that mean for the next trade? Now, there's a lot of Tesla fanatics out there, which there's good reason to be. It's kind of like the new Steve Jobs. The car looks amazing. However, will you let your blind loyalty to the stock affect whether or not the trade is moving against you? It's a big difference between I love this stock, I love the company, versus the stock is no longer performing the way it did when it was just going up and up and up and up. We pulled back. Now, here's the thing. I can say this very clearly as an entrepreneur. There's starting to be a lot more competition. He's got a giant piece of the American pie, but there's competition coming in. And this really looks similar to what happened to the auto industry back in the 70s and right up into the 80s. Competition comes in. General Motors is not the same company it was anymore. There's a lot going on. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to pick out prices, and we're going to see what could happen. The big thing that Tesla has on his side right now is the fact that he has such a giant foothold, and in business terms, he's got first mover advantage, and he's got size. He's got the logistics. That's on his side right now. However, that eventually is going to run out if the numbers aren't there. If they're not actually producing the revenue and the net profits, there's only so much you can handle of, I love Tesla, I love Elon Musk, but they can't support the lofty prices anymore. It's sitting, resting right on a big level right now. So we got roughly 7 or 8 stocks we're going to discuss today. But first, if you happen to get value out of these videos, I'd really appreciate it. You can click down and subscribe. That would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. As well as if you have any questions about anything we talk about, leave a comment below in the video. I'd really like to help you. I'd like to go back and forth. We could have a healthy dialogue. Obviously, everything we talk about is for educational purposes. You have to make your own decisions, but it's kind of fun to have a discussion. So keep the questions specific to these stocks that we're about to discuss, though, because if they're all over the place, it can create a mess of conversations as opposed to let's have a really good, focused one about these ideas. So Tesla, what does that mean about Tesla, right? What are we going to be looking at in Tesla? What we're sitting on right now, this 780 to 790 level is critical. And if you're watching the stock, the next level is 680. That is a big move lower if this support doesn't hold. Now, if we look out and we do what we call watching the order flow, tracking the order flow, and reading the tape, you can start to see that Tesla now on the weekly chart, which is typically the chart where we start to really go out to understand if the tape is obvious or if the tape has changed. And if you don't know what the tape means, tape reading essentially means that you're putting all the pieces together to build an argument for an idea, build an argument for a good trade. So here's the question. Is Tesla testing support now and ready for the next move to the downside? Well, let's take a look at what's going on over the last bunch of weeks, and we're going to actually throw volume into the mix here. You look at these days that Tesla is closing lower, and we call these bearish candlesticks. You can notice that the volume is actually higher on the weeks that the stock is closing lower. We have a gargantuan move to the downside, even down to 450 if we're looking at the weekly charts. So what does Tesla have on its side? Tesla has on its side that the stock market itself is at or near new all-time highs. So here's really what we're looking to do. It's very difficult to anticipate stocks crashing in a bull market, especially somebody that has such a strong foothold in the market. So there's really 2 scenarios that you need to be aware of right now. What is your risk on the trade? And is this trade an investment, or is it a trade where you're looking for somebody might call a growth trade or a momentum trade? If you're trading for the next move, a lot of people got burned on this stock in September, October of last year after everything peaked out in August. Then the market kind of went sideways, went choppy for the better part of 2 months, and especially this stock, it became a game of your emotions and how much you love the stock versus do you have enough money in your account to cover a margin call as the stock went down. So what I'm basically inspiring you to do right now is what we call trade like a pro. We have it hashtag trade like a pro in our community. And what this really comes down to is you need to know now what you plan to do before you need to do it. And that's a lot of trader mumbo jumbo, but it really comes down to this. If this stock starts to fall, what is your plan? What do you plan to do? This stock is so actively traded, and you might be one of the members that are in the stock all day, every day. If you are, script out what you plan to do now. Are you going to get out if it cracks? If it does crack, at what level? What I think is going to happen is we're end up going to just barely breaking that support level. And because we're in a longer term bullish market, I think we're going to find our footing and then start to head back up towards that $900 area. I'd be a little surprised if we hit that level down at 790, 780 and just start to roll over. It generally doesn't happen. So I think the way I'm looking at the trade, I'm expecting it to just barely take out that support level. Maybe some early short sellers who are looking for the trade are going to start to put on shorts. When the buyers come back in and start to push it back up, you're going to have two different people looking to buy the stock, which is going to be people that need to cover the short sale. You probably heard of a short covering rally after it dips down a little bit. Short covering means they have to buy it back to get out of the stock, which creates fuel to the upside. Then you have the Tesla bulls, the people that like the stock long and want to own more of it. So now you have two different groups of people buying Tesla. So the scenario you're going to look for is if it just barely takes out that level and then starts to head back upside. Now, the downside of the story is, some pretty popular people, the guy who called the Big Short, Michael Burry, says that he's looking for Tesla to be a short sale. He's not looking to trade the stock. There's a little bit longer term investment. So you really got to do some due diligence on both sides of the aisle about whether or not you want to be long or short the stock. So that's my scenario. That's how I'm outlining a new game plan for Tesla right now. I'm looking for it to barely take out those levels. And we're talking 780 to 790 level, dipping down just enough to scare enough weak hands. And then I'm looking for the buyers to come back in and push them right back up to 900. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see it unfold. So in context of that, we're also going to be talking about Nio and we're going to be talking about XPeng. Okay, both of them were on fire for the longest period of time. But then if you get into the charts again and we start to look at where these stocks are, again, on the weekly chart, they haven't done anything. And Nio specifically hasn't done anything since Nio Day, which was, we'll go to the daily chart. I'll show you exactly when that was. But you can clearly see that the stock is stuck. There's no other way to put it. If you're trading the stock, it's either for a super short period of time or you're looking for the next wave coming out of this price action. For me right now, Nio needs to get above 65. That's the alert that I'm setting for Nio right now. We had a really good solid run, Nio Day over here, and the stock hasn't done anything. So it needs a new catalyst. So basically what I'm looking to do, and if you want to, something interesting, I get this asked all the time. If you want to get all of my entries, my exits, my profit targets, click down below in the description and you can have everything sent right to your phone. You can get my entries, my exits, my profit targets, my trade management on all of these positions, and you'll actually get the spreadsheet where I track the trade from start to finish. So you get all of my picks. So it's one thing to get the ideas here, and we get this question quite a bit. It's another thing to actually get the exact entry, what I'm planning to do, how I manage the position, what my initial profit targets are, how to trail the stops. That's the real value of following in a little bit deeper level than what we have here. So what we'd be doing in the boot camp right now, what we'd be doing in our community is we'd actually be setting an alert. And the alert right now is up here in the 65 level. We don't want to be involved in all of the noise. We want it to be just outside of the noise so that when we see what we call is a well-bid candlestick. And I want to just get back to what that means, a well-bid candlestick. Well-bid simply means higher highs and higher lows on whatever time frame is your entry time frame. But you also want to see it close strong, and you want to see it close strong outside of the noise. So in this case, we want to see it close near the highs on significant volume and close in that top 10% above 65 in Nio right now. So those are two very specific electric vehicle trade stocks that we've outlined for you now. Now it's a question of going in and game planning the right share size and the right risk for you on that trade. So again, that's an individual thing, right? So what we're going to walk through now is we've got a bunch of other stocks. Some stocks with the market being relatively weak yesterday, even despite the fact we punched higher, we sold off and it was kind of a weird day, intraday in the market. Pinterest is actually one of the top stocks going to be keeping an eye on today. Earnings came out, followed through very good, and we closed strong yesterday. You can see it's kind of opening neutral. I like this, and this is exactly what we're talking about. It went well bid. I'm looking for a new swing trade through here. Can't talk today about stock picks without talking about Riot and without talking about Mara as Bitcoin continues to go. Now, I want to reiterate what we said yesterday about these stocks. You can actually see that Riot is up another 15% this morning. It's up at near 68. We are not looking to initiate a new swing trade here. We're looking to trail this higher as the position moves higher. It's a great story. It's amazing. A lot more people are getting involved in Bitcoin and crypto right now. Obviously, again, getting back to Tesla, Elon Musk, and Tesla getting a lot more involved. PayPal got involved a while back, maybe a couple of months ago. Is it mainstream? Yeah, it's certainly heading down that path. However, does that mean it's a good swing trade now where you expect this price to be higher 3 to 5 days from now? The answer is no. So if I was in this trade, which I'm not right now, I'd be looking to keep moving a trailing stop higher, looking for profit taking to come into the market. And Mara is the same thing. But on the active trading side, these are good day trading stocks right now because you're going to get what we call that bullish echo. Bullish echo is when a stock gets a little bit extended where you're not comfortable putting on a new swing trade, but you can get one more day of buying. If you have intraday criteria like we do in the boot camp, it's much easier to spot when you should be looking to get involved there. Baidu is another one. This one has had some pretty good news lately, and we're looking for follow through. What I really like about this trade is we had a really good bullish run, and then we paused for 3 days. It paused, took its breath. It got to the point now where they held the bid. And again, if I'll give you a quick visual. If you could imagine smart money, if you could imagine deep pockets pushing a stock up, and then they stop for a little bit. They want to see if they're the only buyer. So when a stock goes up and pulls back, that's kind of a natural function of the market, right? Reminiscence of a stock operator. Jesse Livermore talked about that all the time. However, when a stock pushes up and pulls back, that's normal. But when a stock pushes up and goes sideways, that means they're holding the bid. And they're holding the bid means that there's further natural buyers underneath that, and they're not letting the stock goes down, which implies further move to the upside. So if we take a look at that description here, you can see it pushed up here and pulled back. Again, natural function of the market. Everybody knows their Fibonacci levels, right? But this one pushed up and paused. It did not pull back. So I really like the fact that they're holding the bid in Baidu right now. VLO also hitting the list today. And you can see, very similar and very good classic technical analysis here in VLO. It actually punched through, got through all of this resistance, paused there for 5 days and bullish gap yesterday, looking for some follow through. NVIDIA is a big one. Now, again, check when earnings are coming out. Very big deal with everything we're talking about here. The last two earnings reports and guidance weren't great for NVIDIA. And you can see we kind of went sideways there for several months, going all the way back to last September. A little bit different story now. Now it's spiking up into earnings and above all of these levels. The story's changed in NVIDIA. I'm not ready to call a trade here, but the story has changed. Let's see, Tilray and CGC. Trading a little bit better yesterday, but I was very clear in the boot camp yesterday. I was not ready to initiate a new position. I wanted to see today's price action to see if we get follow through. Follow through is a big term that we use, and it's basically the market giving you feedback that the idea is valid now. Not yet. They formed what we call a swing low yesterday, which is one of our patterns to confirm the start of a move in the other direction. So CGC and Tilray, we're going to be making a call intraday today on a new swing trade in both of these stocks. So again, if you want to get these sent to your phone, all of these ideas, just click down below in the description and you'll see a link to learn more about the bootcamp. Moving along the list, MP. MP had a really good clean breakout yesterday. Now the problem is the stock just rallied from 28 to 42. So remember what we just talked about with a natural pause or a market just pulling back just a little bit once it gets through a level. Right now, MP is on my watch list, but I'm setting up a new trade. It actually just bounced. I want to see it hold the bid between 38 and 40, and then that's going to be the next trade that I'm looking for. And I'm looking for roughly $10 to $12 above 40. So we're looking for 50 to 52 as the next level. A little bit different trades here on the last couple ones. NVAX was very strong. Great news, obviously. Now has pulled back, and it's well offered and closed below the open for a few days now. What I'm actually looking for in NVAX today, and we might not get it, but I'm looking for it to make the first push of the day lower, find buyers and then see a reversal. And very similar that I'm looking for here in Workhorse. Workhorse, I'm looking to see it test 34, looking for buyers to come in at 34, and then look for it to turn around and make a run back past 42. And last but not least, we're going to take a look at Kohl's today. Again, should be something that really pops out of you right now very quickly. You can see that Kohl's held the bid. Love the pause up here, looking for a new push to new highs in Kohl's as well. So look, Tesla's on the radar today. Electric vehicles have kind of been out of play right now, and Tesla's teasing that little bullet, little bottom part there, that little support, that 780 to 790 level. If it hits that level and you start to see close lower on heavier volume, you need a script now. Don't act like an amateur. Hashtag trade like a pro. We talk about this every day in the community. Map out what you want to do before the trade, before you need to make a decision. So when it gets to you like, I'm just running a trading business, I know exactly what I'm doing, it's no big deal. If it finds support and buyers come in, remember we said 2 different people are going to be buying at that time. Short covering, which would make it go up very quickly, and new buyers step in, and you can get a really nice bounce up to 900 if that support holds. And remember, we have the alert set for Nio at $65. That's where we're looking to place our next trade in Nio. We tried the $60 breakout level, got stuck in the middle of that range, and we were out of that one. So the next one we're looking for is above 65. Again, please, if you find these videos helpful, it would mean the world to me if you click down and subscribe to the channel, because you'll get updates, you'll get new trading education which we put out every day. You'll see that coming up on the screen in a second. And if you have any questions about these stocks, definitely let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, okay? Have a great day, everybody. I really appreciate you being here with me today. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day.